You already know that K-pop Demon Monster Slayer Hunters has taken over the world. Their title track, Golden, has like 600 million plus views. But do you know why? In this video, I'm gonna react to the music video for the first time, then as a professional producer, show you exactly why I think this song is a smash hit. Or if I think it's actually garbage. Let's hop in. I mean, this little like line at the beginning here is so sick, dude. It's just it's like a vocal chop with some sort of LFO kind of filter on it. Sounds so cool. Then you have the pad coming in the background. That alone right there is so sick. Also, this whole song is in 6/8 time. It's got a triplet type feel to it. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. We'll get more into that later, but God, that first part is sick. I was a ghost, I was alone. She goes so high up here. She goes so high. Like right up here. The music video is aight. It's okay. I mean, obviously the whole show and movies animated, gotta respect that. But I mean, the music is weird, so good. Love this little breakdown here. I haven't heard this part. I like that little melody right there. That's sick. I wish they brought that more in there. This is the coolest part. This synth right here is so sick. I'm gonna have to recreate that. I mean, the movie's cool, but like, I mean, come on, we're talking here about the music. Let's talk about the music. Couple things that just stood out to me in this track. First of all, the production is insanely good. There are some parts that I really want to point out that you can start using in your own productions that I think would be super helpful. One of them being is the relationship between the bass and the kick. So you'll hear that this bass comes up. I'm just going to solo it. As the song progresses, between the verse and the chorus, there adds in more of that bass sound. The filter on the bass, if you will, is getting higher and higher. That could be literally that the low pass filter is opening up, similar to something like this. But more than likely, they're adding in multiple layers of bass to add in some of these more high frequency information to make it that much, quote unquote, thicker, that much more high-end, high fidelity. But take a listen to the relationship between the kick and bass, because it really is that important. The stem separator isn't perfect, so give it a bit of a break. But what it will show us is that the kick and the bass happen on different beats. You can see on the downbeat, on the 1, we have the kick, and then on the 2 and 3 of the first triplet, we have the bass. 1 2 3 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3. This just keeps the bass out of the way of the kick itself, and it makes it very interesting to listen to. I think it's also really important to note for this song that the samples that they chose to use are very, very high quality. And there's more than likely layering going on in the drums as well. Notice how well that these parts go together. And then we have this kind of drop here, and we go into this little respace right here. Super cool, just kind of like a detuned saw wave bass. Let me quickly make that for you. The chord progression of this itself is pretty basic. I think we're dealing with so we have a 4 1 5 6. It's a very common pop chord progression. All that we're really doing to make this bass is we'll use a saw wave here. We'll take the cutoff and then maybe add some unison and some detune here. Let's take this down an octave. And that's it. That's the bass we got, right? Let's take a listen to it. Super simple. There's a little bit more going on there. It looks like there's some portamento, which is glide. But that's about it. And this is very typical of productions. You would think that some of the sounds that they use are very complicated, and some of them are, but more than likely there is a simple sound embedded into the song at some point. I also noticed something interesting about the synths going on in this track. Listen to how this is sidechained. You can literally see the waveforms ducking out as the kick hits. And they come in on the same parts as the kick as well, but this is heavily sidechained. Basically saying whenever the kick hits, we're going to make this waveform smaller, and then this part is going to fill in more of that harmonic information. This is very common in modern productions. It helps keep the kick front and center without it being overly powering volume-wise, and this is something that you can add in your production as well. And now I absolutely had to talk about the vocals. I mean, just listen to how much vocals is adding to this. There's nothing really that crazy going on in the beat, and it will get more complicated slightly as we go on, but the bulk of this song and most pop songs like this are the vocals. There will be stacks and stacks of harmonies and background vocals and extra reverb all coming from the vocals. Check it out. Some really cool harmonies there. Listen to how much reverb is on there too. That reverb is like making this ethereal type pad sound as well, which is adding to the high end energy. A lot of times I like to add in some high pads to do that very specific reason in my choruses to help make them thicker. But this is just happening with the vocal reverb that they've added. Another thing I want to point out too is the vocal reverbs automating up when the vocal isn't playing. Whenever you hear the vocal, the reverb ducks down, and then in the spaces in between them, the reverb comes up. This is just to fill in the space and make it more listenable and understandable. You hear that? You hear how it's just popping up there? It's a very common technique, and one I would recommend that you could do. You can do this in a couple of ways. You can automate it by using some sort of side chain on a bus, or you could just manually go in and automate it with, oh, let's boost up this part right here, and then yeah. You can see that all of these elements are working together to be groovy. The sounds they selected were absolutely really good. A lot of layering going on in the bass and then in the drums as well. Some basic kind of synths that we talked about. Now, let's go to my favorite part of the song and try to recreate that, which is this vocal line here. I anticipate it being kind of hard, but I believe I can do it. This is the sound I'm recreating, by the way, in case you were wondering. I started with the easy part of recreating this sound, the pad. I chose a saw wave, added a filter, and recorded the chords. I then adjusted the parameters to get a better sound, including adding unison and adjusting the envelope. Then I tried my best to record my own voice to match the notes of the vocal chop. I think I ended up redoing this like 3 or 4 times, by the way. Then I added an LFO, but it was absolutely the wrong type of LFO, which took me way too long to realize. Then I experimented with some formant shifting. I added real instruments for a more spiky transient. And after too long, I finally realized my LFO error and corrected it. And here's the final sound I came up with. It was close to what I was looking for, but definitely not exactly like the original. And I had a very mediocre reason as to why. What it seems like to me is that this actual vocal itself isn't exactly in line. In other words, it's kind of repeating on the beat, but it's not quite exactly on a triplet, which is why it feels a little bit strange. The triplets happen in a rhythmic way, but they're not quite exactly on the beat, which is why I think I've been having some trouble with this in the first place. Blah, 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 blah. Sounds like a whole lot of excuses. I still think that you can use this technique that I've shown you to recreate something similar for yourself, but I wasn't able to fully nail this sound. If you like this reaction, I think you'll really like this reaction right up here, where I react to some more K-pop. Go check it out.